Hi everybody. On this video I'm going to be installing sidebars on the side of my truck, and you're going to learn from my mistakes. Let's go. Okay, so now I've laid all of the parts out as illustrated in the instruction manual, and you'll notice I left the wrappers on right now, the green and the clear plastic, just so I don't mix up which side that the parts go on, because the parts are not labeled themselves. I'll get started on the driver's side first. Okay, so the first thing you have to do is figure out if your truck has factory threaded inserts in the body of your truck. Now when you get down here, you might not know what you're looking at, but you're actually going to look under and towards the outside of the truck. So it's actually these holes right here. Now I do not have factory threaded inserts inside. They're just these holes in here. So now you take one of these 8mm hex bolts and you're going to thread it through the bolt and nut plate. So on this end you'll come up through this side and you'll thread it until it starts to come out of the nut side. Once we get under the truck, we're going to use this as a little handle to thread the bolt that's attached to the plate through one of the holes, and then we'll take this plastic sheet and put it on there like that, and it'll help keep the part in place basically while we install the sidebar and the other bracket to it. Okay, so it took me a while, but I finally got this bolt plate threaded through one of the holes in the bottom by using another bolt as an anchor. It was very difficult. I didn't think it was gonna go, but you have to actually push the whole plate inside of the first hole and pull it back towards the holes and try to line them up at the same time. So it's difficult, but it can be done, and I did it. So now we'll continue on. Okay, so I was supposed to do the front first. I did the back first, so now I'm going to go back and do the same thing that I did on the back, and I'll just do it on the front, and then we'll just work my way back. The front of my truck has the factory threaded inserts on it. The back doesn't. I don't know if that's going to be a different install process yet, but the front has the factory threaded inserts, so I won't have to install the bolt plates on the front. I can just install the brackets directly into those threaded inserts. Okay, so I'm just going to install this bracket under the front part of the driver's side, and it's going to attach right here up underneath the truck, and this is where the sidebar is going to go. So to attach it, I'll take one of these 8mm bolts, put the locking washer over it, and then the flat washer, put it through the back side of this, and thread it into the threaded inserts on the underneath side of my truck. I'll do that to both of these, and I'm not going to tighten it down fully yet, but I'll go ahead and get it in place. Okay, so I have the front bracket attached to the front of my truck. So now I'm going to install this support bracket to the bracket that I just put on. And to do that, I'm going to take one of the 8mm bolts and flat washer, put it through the washer, put it through this hole of the support bracket, through the side of the front bracket, another bolt, another washer, and then the locking nut. So now we're going to install a couple of more bolts to the bottom side of that support bracket, and it actually kind of pivots up and attaches to the frame of the truck. And to do that, we're going to use a 6mm. Basically there's two sizes of bolts. There's the larger one and the small one. The 8mm is what we've been using this whole time, but now we're going to be using the 6mm bolt, which, like I say, is the smaller one. And there's also the smaller washer that fits it, and the smaller locking nut that fits it as well. You can't really mess it up. You can only use the certain type of washer and the certain type of nut with that bolt. But Anyway, this is the size that we're going to use. Okay, we have the front bracket installed at towards the front of the truck. So now we're going to move down to the center and then finally the end. Now, I do have factory threaded inserts on the front, but I don't have the factory threaded inserts on the center or the rear. So I'm going to have to use the bolt plate thing job to install in the middle. So we'll see how that goes. So I got one side of the bracket installed. Now what I have to do is unthread the bolt that I put in earlier and line up the hole for that bolt right here with this hole, and then install that bolt back through both of these holes and tighten it up like that one. Easier said than done. I'm going to tighten this just a little bit more. I definitely don't want it to come off, because then I'll lose the whole bracket in that empty space in the side of the truck. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to unscrew this, get my washer, flat washer and locking washer set, and then kind of use this as a pivot and pivot that down to the hole. You can see it there. So now I just need to lift that up. I think I got it. I got it. I used my fat belly as a support to bring the bracket up, and it worked. Whew. So now I'm going to install the support bracket like I did on the first one. I'll put the bolt through here to the bracket, and then the other bolts will install right there. Okay, I got 2 down and 1 to go. The center one and the front one are done. Now I'm going to move on to the back and just repeat the process. Okay, now I have all 3 brackets installed on the side of the frame. For some reason I didn't have enough room underneath here to tighten these up, but that's okay, I can do that later. Okay, now we're ready to install the sidebar onto the brackets. I'm going to use these bolts that say use to attach sidebar to brackets only. It's going to go on the brackets like that. And there are pre-drilled holes on the bottom of the sidebar, so that's where one of these 8mm bolts will go up through the brackets to secure it. So I'm just going to hand tighten everything for now and make sure everything fits in place, and then I'll go through and tighten it up with the wrenches. Okay, so I have all of the bolts attaching the bracket to the sidebar hand tight. I'm going to go through and tighten those bolts fully, and then I'll tighten the bracket bolts that attach to the frame, and then we'll test it out. Okay, everything is tightened. It's the moment of truth. I haven't been on it yet, but we're going to step up on it and see how it feels. I'm feeling pretty good about it. That is solid, that is good. When I was putting together, I noticed how everything just fit really well. It took a little bit to get everything in place, especially those bolt brackets underneath. But once everything is in and when everything is tightened up, yeah, that's not going anywhere. It's really good. I'm going to do the passenger side now, and I will see you on the other side of that. All right, so I just finished up with the passenger side and things went a lot smoother, it went a lot faster. I got the hang of installing those brackets underneath the frame, and this side took me about 45 minutes. The driver's side took about an hour and a half. I'm pleased with it. Turned out really good. Everything is solid. I'll have a link for the product down at the bottom. You can click on it and buy it yourself and follow along in the video for the installation. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe and like. And again, thanks for watching.